Hey, everybody, welcome in. Happy Monday evening to all of you. It is the Texans Collective for the eighth straight Monday or Friday or Thursday, whatever day we're doing this, but mostly on Monday. It is a victorious Texans Monday here on the Texans Collective. And most importantly, tonight we're here to talk about a playoff clinching win over the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles on Saturday that has huge significance here. We got all kinds of playoff scenarios that we're going to talk about. We've got this defense that we're going to talk about again. We've got this offense that it is doing just enough to win all these games, but there's a lot to dig into that concerns us for this playoff race. But most of all, for the first time in Texans history, the Texans are making the postseason for the third season in a row. And we are excited to be with you tonight to break it all down. I'm Sean Pendergast, one half of Payne and Pendergast on Sports Radio 610, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. weekdays, alongside Landry Locker, of course, of The Locker Room with Landry Locker and SNL here on YouTube. By the way, hit a like, hit a subscribe. We appreciate all of you tuning in here. Reggie Atatula in the loop, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sports Radio 610. And of course, Cody Stutes, Houston Football with Cody Stutes and SNL as well. We're really excited to be with you tonight. And all of you in the chat, we appreciate you tuning in during this beautiful holiday season, because the Texans have won 8 in a row, the second longest winning streak in the history of the franchise, and they've clinched a playoff spot. And there's all kinds of there's a bunch of directions this whole thing can go, and we're going to break it all down for you tonight. But we'll start with clinching an actual playoff spot. 3 in a row for the first time in the history of the franchise, doing it against a team that was going for a 1 seed in the AFC and completely torpedoing Indianapolis at the same time. This whole thing is really beautiful. An 11-2 run, and the 2 losses right now are to the 2 1 seeds in the AFC and the NFC. This has been an elite level streak that the Texans have been on right now. And this is great. When we were doing this thing back in late September, early October, guys, and they're 0-3, I don't think any of us would have predicted that we would be in this spot, right? Maybe contending and talking about relevant football, but clinching a playoff spot here still with a week to go. This is a really good spot to be in right now.
Yeah, I think that it just kind of leveled out. I think they're about where you expected them to be. After the 0-3, you can think what you wanted, but they're where about we expected them to be. And the beauty of this is the playoff picture is as wide open as I can remember it on the AFC side. And you got to win against a team that, as you said, Sean, was a good team. And I don't know that there's really anything new. There are a couple new developments I think that we should touch on when it comes to the Texans on maybe on the offensive side of the rock. But this is Texans football. This was Texans football. Non-existent offense in the second half. Dominant defense for the most part throughout, with a glimpse here and there. And when things need to go your way, they go your way, and they find ways to win. We'll see whether that carries on into the playoffs. But I will say it does feel like this is as open of an opportunity as they possibly have, and they have the opportunity that I think most of us expected them to have at this point before the season started.
Yeah, you make the mention of, I don't know how many of us would have imagined that we'd be here a week out from the regular season ending and already clinched the playoffs. And I will raise my hand very willingly and say, not I. Like, I very much wasn't there. And a reminder to not ride the roller coaster as hard. And to be honest, I'm not going to heed that warning. Like, I'll probably still be there. But, like, I think it was fair in hindsight to still look at this and go, how reasonable is it for this team to willingly choose that their recipe is going to be just barely enough offense in the year of our Lord 2025 and all defense. And that was not going to cause any real slip ups, that they were going to be able to, go ahead and skate by continuously. And that's probably unfair to use the phrase skate by, but you get what I'm getting for, like, continue to slide by in a lot of these 1-score games and get their way here and then rattle off 8 in a row. Like, it is unbelievable, really, if we're going to be honest, that they've been able to make this go with this particular build on this team. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Like, the message of it's just about finishing, they believe that and they execute it. As much as you want to deride that in any way, shape, or form, they believe it, they execute, and I can't do anything but salute that and nod my head at that, because they've been able to do that. The question that I've constantly asked myself is, does that play when things tighten up in the playoffs? Except they've been playing playoff football for 6 weeks now, and they're making it go. So I'm here where I'm just like, all right, I have no choice but to bend to the will of the Houston Texans at this point.
Yeah, recipe by choice and also recipe by necessity sometimes when this offense goes on these big lulls. And yeah, Reggie, is it something you could take to the playoffs and win with a lot like you have here in the regular season? I don't think so, because you look at some of the games where they have had some of these second half struggles. It's usually against better teams that they haven't scored a touchdown in the second half against: the Rams, the Broncos, the Bills. And if you don't score a touchdown in the second half in the playoffs, you're probably going home at the end of that game. But this defense continues time and time and time again. It doesn't matter if it's, hey, they were overly aggressive and gave them a short field when they shouldn't have even had the football before the end of half. It doesn't matter if Tremont Smith gives up 70 plus yards of offense on one drive. Aziz is there to clean up a ball that pops up in the air because their tight end can't catch the ball. There's timely sacks, stuffing the run after a week where they couldn't stop Ashton Genty in the worst rushing attack in football. The defense, again and again and again, it just shows up, and that's going to travel. That'll go with them wherever they go in the playoffs, and you just need something a little bit more from this offense.
Yeah, we'll talk about the offense. I went and tracked the lulls on offense.
Ooh.
Not tracked, but when I went and found, no. I've got a lot of notes on the lulls on the offense. Yeah.
Yes.
And that is something that will torpedo a team in the postseason if you go as long with the droughts offensively. I'm not talking about not scoring or only scoring a field goal. I'm talking about going 3 and out multiple times, punting as much as they do offensively. But this is the appropriate time because we're going to talk about the offense. We're going to talk about the gritty defense, the playoff picture, and everything else, as you can see on the right or in the left-hand column there on the YouTube page. But and I know D'Amico Ryans has his glitches here. We heard some of them on the press conference today when it comes to the end of half. There's certain things with game management and the offense, maybe even hiring on the offensive side. But for the first time in this team's history, they've made the playoffs 3 times in a row. They've won more than 10 games 3 times in a row. He and CJ Stroud have made the playoffs the first 3 years they've been together. That's happened 4 times in the history of the NFL with a first-time head coach and a rookie quarterback. And I know we pick at things that this team does poorly offensively and game management wise, and it's all appropriate. But I think it is appropriate also to point out that there are some things that D'Amico Ryans is doing as a head coach that this franchise has never seen before, but that are in a category of the NFL where with he and CJ, with this current NFL, in this NFL right now, 10 plus games won in the last 3 seasons since 2023. There's only 3 other head coaches that have done it: Sean McDermott, Nick Sirianni, Sean McVay, and D'Amico Ryans. That I know we're going to dig into some things here over the next 50 minutes or so. But in terms of keeping the floor high on this team and keeping them in the playoff mix, and in an NFL where the Chiefs are winning 6 games this year and the Ravens are fighting for their lives, Joe Burrow hasn't made the playoffs the last 2 years. I think it's noteworthy that this is a team largely done on the defensive side of the ball that has been in the mix, and now is the team that a lot of people are talking about as a legit Super Bowl contender. That 3 years in a row, this is where we are at this point, I think is significant with this team.
I hate to hike my leg on that, but I kind of do. I mean, this has been a mediocre ass franchise. Like, they haven't been to a conference championship, and like Bill O'Brien won division titles. He might not have won as many. Bill O'Brien started out 0-3. He got to the playoffs. So it feels like there's a standard that I think they have, which is why they made the decisions they did in the offseason, which is why they have the opportunity that they do right now. But I'm just a little bit hesitant. As someone, you've been covering it longer than me, Sean, but these celebrations, while there's a few more of them, they're the celebrations that you want to get to the next hump. Even Bill O'Brien at some point was saying from good to great. Now, he went and pissed away DeAndre Hopkins and brought in the POS, Jack Easterby, and didn't back it up. So I feel great about D'Amico Ryans. He's the best coach in franchise history, but they got to get to that next step for me. I like what they're doing. It's great. It's a great opportunity, but yeah, I would hope that D'Amico's doing a better job. I think he inherited more assets than most of those guys inherited, and I think he's done a good job with it. But the reality is right now, there's a possibility that we could be on a treadmill where this is the same team as the 2018 team that found ways to win games, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they got in the playoffs, they kind of wet the bed. Or the team that we saw last year that was really good on defense, not this good, but good on defense, and they get into the playoffs and they're kind of chasing their tail on offense. So credit to D'Amico for that, but it just seems like I just kind of roll my eyes whenever I see these accomplishments of getting into the playoffs being kind of glorified, because that's the best in Texans franchise history. Doesn't mean much. It's been a very mediocre franchise. They haven't been to a conference championship.
That's fair. That's everything you said is correct. The thing I would say, if we're comparing it to 2018, the winning streak and everything else, they're doing it in much different environments, better more
better teams too, against better teams.
Against better teams, yeah. Like that's like to me, this 8-game winning streak with D'Amico Ryans is significantly more impressive than the 9-game winning streak that Bill O'Brien put together in 2018. Right.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's I just think that D'Amico Ryans is a really, really good coach. I think he has an opportunity to get where they want to get. I'm not completely dismissive of it because of the field, but I just, 3 straight and all that. Just you got get to the AFC Championship game, please. Like
I think he would say that too. I would.
I think he would too, and that's the thing that I like about D'Amico.
Yeah,
that I think he has his eye on that prize as well. The offensive stuff and the silliness aside.
Yep. Yeah, I think that what you say is actually probably right in this case, is that this franchise has not been to any of the heights that some other franchises have been. Mediocre is the word that you use there. And I think the last point that you guys pointed out is really the big thing here. Nobody in that building, at least when it comes to like the team that gets on the field, is talking about it in those ways, right? They very much have a mindset where they continue to talk about finishing, and that's not going to be in the micro of just finishing an individual game or a quarter, what have you. Like, I imagine that is continually the message that is in that locker room. And again, sometimes you talk about messages in sports and you go, all right, but who cares? They sop that up. Like, legitimately, you guys are in locker rooms, and outside of after a game, they're all in unison saying the same thing, as if D'Amico Ryans was talking himself. Like, they absolutely take that to heart. It really is. I won't say us, because I know not all 4 of us would be saying all of these things, but it's the outside that has an opportunity to talk about, wow, look at this thing that they are doing, where we haven't seen this before, which, to be fair, for a mediocre franchise, if you're going to call it that, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, let's celebrate like we ain't never been here, because we ain't never been here. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it's supposed to be. So I think in some ways it's the best of both worlds. If you are a Texans fan listening and you want to enjoy this, go ahead and enjoy this, because you know that them boys are out there doing the work, so that this ain't it, right? I think that is something fair to exist in.
And that's why I actually don't want them to win the division. Like, I want a different path. And I think the most important thing for me heading into this weekend, and they have an opportunity to do it, was avoid the possibility of having to go to Buffalo. I said this to y'all last week. Like, avoid the possibility of having to go to Buffalo. Now, that might mean you have to go to Baltimore, which hadn't been too kind to you, but you're going to have to beat somebody. So Lamar Jackson with a bad back, whatever, if you have to do that, maybe you get lucky, you get Aaron Rodgers. But I think it would be nice for them to, win a couple of road games. And then the crazy thing about it is there's a chance that if that does happen, that you have a decent chance, if you win your second game, to host the AFC Championship game, because those teams on the lower end have a pretty good chance to win games. So I would like to see them just get in a different way. I'm not going to judge D'Amico Ryans any different whether they do or don't win the division. I think the job has been as good as any other job that he's had. With all the stuff that I said, it's just kind of incomplete. I will say it's close to year one, but year one was just a little bit different. But I think with the teams that they've beaten and stuff, I just don't want them. I don't want them to win the division. I want to see a different path.
You faced way more good quarterbacks this year than you did in year one.
Easily.
In year one, the third best because you faced Joe Burrow in year one, you faced Lamar Jackson in year one. The third best quarterback you faced in year one might have been Baker Mayfield. It might have been Trevor Lawrence. That was a bad quarterback schedule. This one, like, doing it against this schedule this year, I think is what they've done is really impressive. I know it's been a bunch of one-score games, and you've needed some things to fall your way, and this defense has been elite, and the offense hasn't done anything, and whatever. Like, this has been an impressive schedule run for this team, I think.
They still have a chance to go where they wanted to go, where they intended to go when they made the change at offensive coordinator and made the changes they did in the offseason to try to go there. And they couldn't get to that goal before they got to the goal of making the playoffs, and they eliminated a lot of their margin for error when they shot themselves in the foot for 3 weeks to start the season and started 0-3 and squandered away a couple of other opportunities to get back on track or get to 500 at the various times that they did. And then with basically no margin for error, they didn't make an error, and they won 8 straight. They have a chance now to win 9 straight, and the 9th, matters a little bit less because they're already in the playoffs. And that ultimate goal that they had for 2025, which is to go where no Texans team has gone before, is still in front of them.
It is.
Yep. 11-2 run, and the 2 losses to Seattle and Denver, the 2 1 seeds. It's an impressive run, no question about that. As far as the offense goes, as we kind of segue here, if there's going to be an undoing for this team in the postseason, it's going to come on the offensive side of the football. I think we can all agree on that. The lulls on the offensive side of the football, I went and when we were looking at the topics for tonight's show, this is just going back to the Denver game. So this isn't even taking into account the first 8 games of the season, where there was plenty of offensive football that we could dig into negatively. This is just since the week before the winning streak started. Denver game, shutout after the 9:18 mark of the third quarter. Granted, that was with Davis Mills, but still.
Bench Davis Mills, too.
That's
well, 21 plays for 48 yards. There's getting shut out and there's getting embarrassed. 21 plays for 48 yards. The Tennessee game 2 weeks later, shut out for the whole first half of that game. That game was 3-0 at halftime against one of the worst teams in football. The Buffalo game, just 3 points in the second half, 5 drives, 20 plays, 36 yards. Now, these are all Davis Mills games. We fast forward with C.J. Stroud. The Kansas City game, shut out in the third quarter of that game. 4 drives, 12 plays, -2 yards. So 4 3-and-outs in the third quarter of that game. They did score 10 points in the fourth quarter, but it was on a 6-play drive for 31 yards, set up by Andy Reid deciding to go for it on 4th down in his own territory, and then a field goal that was set up by an Azeez Al-Shaair interception. So nothing impressive in the second half of that game. The Las Vegas game, nothing in the first quarter of that game against one of the worst teams in football. 3 drives, 12 plays, 19 yards. You had 7 points because Derek Stingley Jr. returned an interception for a touchdown. And then you had 4 3-and-outs in that game against one of the worst defenses in football. And then this Chargers game, awesome in the first 6 minutes, fucking incredible in the first 6 minutes. But from 9:17 in the first quarter till 9:38 in the third quarter, that's 2 full quarters of football, 0 points, 6 drives, 29 plays, 94 yards, 4 punts, 2 interceptions. I'm just spilling all these numbers out here because I researched them today, but these are all things that are the classic, like, yeah, you can get away with it in the regular season maybe, and I know some of these teams are good teams that you might even face again in the regular season. You're playing with fire if you're going this long. I'm not even saying without scoring. I'm saying without even being competitive on offense and putting your defense back out there seconds after they just left the field. This is, to me, this is the biggest concern for this team, and it's not even close going into the postseason. Is you have these, it's not that you're mediocre offensively, it's that you have these massive droughts offensively where you're just 3 plays and giving the ball back to the other team.
I haven't had a list that bad since my last physical. Jesus.
By the way, you didn't even mention the Titans. You had 6 points through 3 quarters. And I
did. No, I mentioned they were shut out in the first half. I mentioned
there you go. Yeah, there you go. So it's the offense is clearly what they're going to have to overcome. Can I give some I'll give some positive offense stuff. I'll be the positive guy.
Who are you?
I do like that they found the right mix of running backs finally, and it feels like I was a little bit hesitant to believe that they could quit Nick Chubb. It looks like they did. It might have still been a little bit too much for my liking. 1 carry, but
on his birthday. on his birthday.
Probably why he got
That's
it.
how you know that they're ruthless. On his birthday, here's one carry for 2 yards on your birthday, you motherfucker.
Sir, 1 yard.
Hold on. He did have some pass block reps in there, so it's not
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think they perhaps found the right mix of running back, which I think is great. And I think that Woody Marks, last week I said Jawar Jordan was better than his stats. I thought Woody Marks was better than his stats. I think Woody Marks was a very, very good situational runner in this game. He got you out of the end zone at the end of the first half. Unfortunately for the Texans, they decided not to count that blessing, and they decided to be strangely aggressive. But he got you out of the end zone. Him and Jordan, with a little bit of help, they got you a 20-10 lead, which is a 2-possession game. And after, at the end of the game, he took it home with his running. So I thought Woody Marks was really good. Also, Jalen Knoll, a significant play in a significant game. So maybe that's a little bit of a sign of things to come. And I actually don't think Nick Caley was fantastic. I think a lot of times there are some predictable runs, but I actually think Nick Caley might have been, the last 2 weeks, I think he might have been better than what the results may show as far as how he called a game, because there's another play that I point to, and you could tell that CJ Stroud knew that he missed an opportunity, but I've said this on the post game. I said this on SNL Reaction Monday earlier today, but I got to at least acknowledge it. Because I've said they need to get Woody Marks involved in the pass game. And there was a play where Woody Marks was wide ass open for a perhaps touchdown, and CJ Stroud just missed him, in large part because Khalil Mack was coming. But if he puts a little bit of air on that, could have been a nice result. So I actually thought that Nick Caley called a better play. I'm not a simp like D'Amico Ryans thinks everyone is whenever you talk about stuff. Like, there is like a gray area to it. So I actually think there are some positives about the offense. But you're right. It is absolutely flawed, but there are some things to look at.
Yeah. And to your larger point, both of you guys mentioning when it comes to this offense, they take their shots, as evidenced by the early portions of this game. You could see Tarheeb still basically sitting flat-footed, thinking, ain't no way Jaden Higgins is going deep. This is a comeback. And Higgins goes, I'm even, so I'm leaving. And boom, here you go, 75 yards. Like, you can see the instances where that happens. And this is the conscious anxiety that exists within me. I go, all right, but what happens if those shots, if you don't take advantage of them, a la, maybe CJ missing an opportunity, especially in instances where things tighten up, because you don't frequently have shots. It's a few of them a game with the way that they've decided to play football. And something that Kurt Warner, one of the few things that I thought was good about that broadcast on NFL Network, something Kurt Warner said that I thought was interesting was making note of the idea that oftentimes it feels like there's no or just a bad pressure plan. And that's one of those things that we're 17 weeks through. Like, it's not going to get fixed at this point. And I'm still looking at it and I go, what is happening here? Because you can get to the line and it feels like there's some instances, some of them where it's like, all right, it's just a simulated pressure or you're dropping out and you couldn't tell what was going to happen. Sometimes I'm like, we could prepare for this. And it's times where I go, I don't know what the answer is. I did appreciate that CJ seemed to, at least in my estimation, give us some level of, I'm trying to find an answer, which is stand in as long as you can, and then just kind of float that thing up there and see if maybe a wide receiver can get under it, as opposed to having to scramble around and not be able to set your feet or throw the football away. Give that guy a chance on the back end. And it seemed like he did that while also still somewhat putting the ball in a safer place, even though he's launching it downfield to no one in particular in a moment. I think that was nice in some instances. And I know that sounds insane, but I thought that was nice to at least see if maybe these are things that can help you when you have a free rusher and still give you an opportunity to make a play, because those opportunities at chunk plays are not going to be frequent, but you're going to need them in the playoffs.
I certainly understand the Chargers, who have an excellent pass rush, starting with just 4 pass rushers and not blitzing. And the Texans took advantage of them and held up with some good protection on those first couple of drives. And then Jesse Minter was like, all right, well, let's start sending the house and see how they react. And the Texans did not react well. And it feels like the book is out on them. Like, there's going to be a stretch of the game where it doesn't matter which offensive linemen are in. It doesn't matter which running backs are in. It doesn't matter which tight ends are in. And the quarterback has been mostly the same for all of this. If you're sending 5 or 6, someone's getting home. Someone's getting home, and they're either going to make a play or they're going to force Stroud to make a very quick decision, which that worked against him a couple of times. The interception was a quick decision. The second interception was a quick decision. The first interception I know he got tipped, but it was an interception because if he was looking for Schultz, it was an interception no matter what. Derwin James was right there. He had some plays where he threw it at the feet of receivers where the pocket was fine. He's rattled by the pressure, so he doesn't take that extra second to find this guy or that guy. And we saw it against the Raiders. We saw it again against the Chargers. We saw it in that third quarter against Kansas City. Like, the book is there. You send 4 or 5, or you send 5 and 6 on these guys, and either they didn't adjust for it pre-snap or they don't know how to handle it post-snap. And you're going to get home and you're going to cause some confusion, and the quarterback's not having a good day. And you juxtapose that with Herbert making all these plays when the Texans are sending 4 and getting pressure, and he's still able to go make a play even when there's all these defenders out there to slow down his pass catchers.
And that's the point that I want to bring up with CJ in regards to CJ is, man, you had a mirror image on the other side of someone going through it worse than you. That was their 24th offensive line combination. They were happy that Austin Deculus ran on the field. Normally that means we've had the worst offensive line situation in the world. And whenever Austin Deculus is out there, it's like, damn, things are really bad. They were calling for Austin Deculus to get on the field. That was their 24th offensive line combination. And that's not even including Rashawn Slater not playing a single snap in the regular season. So it's kind of tough on CJ when I understand what you're going through, but the guy on the other side is going through it as well. And it seemed like he was kind of, I mean, I don't want to say he was pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but it seemed like he was handling those situations a little bit more. And maybe that's an unfair comparison, but it does kind of make it a little bit different when you see that on the same field. And I know Sean hates Justin Herbert, but yeah,
Hold up. I gained a lot of respect for Justin Herbert in this game. I don't hate Justin Herbert. I hate that Justin Herbert is thought of by some of the experts out there to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
but I don't disrespect Justin Herbert. The follow up on everything that we've been talking about here. We had Jalen Noel on the post game show.
And by the way, you pronounced his name right. Let me just say this real quick, Sean. I'm going to get this out.
Yeah.
If you know the pronunciation of the name, maybe don't use a Noel joke, Rich Eisen.
Oh, he's terrible. He's terrible. He's terrible. We need a separate episode for Rich Eisen. You guys want to get together tomorrow and talk about Rich Eisen at 6 o'clock? He's horrible. He's terrible.
I've been trying to limit my stress. I've been limiting my stress.
Fucking awful at play-by-play.
Has it always been like this?
Yes.
This is the first time that it really hit me.
Yeah.
He sucked on SportsCenter. Let's be honest.
Whoa!
Oh.
No, he did not.
No, I'm not afraid. Hey,
what?
I'm not. Cody, I appreciate your courageousness and your bravery. We had Jalen Noel on the post-game show. He said that the Higgins touchdown and his touchdown were both things that they saw on film during the week, which maps to the whole scripted 15 plays thing. The second thing I would follow up with, Clint Sterner, we do the post-game show together, and he was pointing out, like, hey, they had a plan for the early part of this game. They did not have a great plan for once the first 15 scripted plays were over. Like the first 15 play, the scripted 15, they were ready to go, man. Fucking 2 long touchdowns, and
I never thought we'd get here.
They
What's
didn't
the plan now? I don't know.
I mean, you scored touchdowns on the first 2 drives. We're done, right? Like, game's over. They quit.
It kind of was, we've seen a couple short fields and a couple field goals, and put it on Aziz and Daniil and Will and everybody else.
If this was Madden, the other player would have disconnected already. You know what I mean? We're done here.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's how it went.
I do agree, and I do give credit for the way that was done, and I think it was kind of a carryover. I asked Kaylee about it last week. I also asked him about the end of the first half and what the hell goes into that, because I've decided that's a D'Amico thing, and I've actually solved the mystery of it as well. It's very discouraging, but I've solved the mystery of their weird ass end of halves. But I asked Kaylee about being aggressive on third down, and he was aggressive on third down right off the top. You don't get much more aggressive than that 3rd and 1. But the end of that first half was an absolute blunder, and it's as simple as this: they've had one good situation where they've handled it perfect, and it was against the Buffalo Bills. And even then they kind of play with fire. Christian Kirk didn't get out of bounds. They've had a couple of times where it's just been obvious where the Seattle game where they missed a field goal, and then Denver where they muffed a punt, and then Arizona at midfield, they go for it, and they know to be aggressive there. The one time it was actually perfect was the start of the season before D'Amico gave up the play calling against the Rams. They stole 3 points traditionally, but the 3 bleep shows, this is going to be very discouraging because it's very simplistic, because D'Amico likes to act like criticism of him is simplistic. He's actually telling on himself. Just see the difference in the way that he talked about the Aziz hit versus the hit on CJ Stroud. Like that kind of shows like it's completely different with him, with the way that he discusses things. But you look at the 3 blunders, the bizarre end of half approaches. They've had 3 that have just been like, what is going on immediately? One of them was at the end of San Francisco, which we talked about. They were at their own 29-yard line with 25 seconds left. They were up 16-7, and they decided to throw the ball. And it was like, why are you throwing the ball here? They ended up throwing an interception. Fortunately for them, no harm, no foul, and they ended up being okay. Then there was the Indianapolis game where they had about 2 minutes left. They had 2 timeouts, and they killed a minute 40. We've talked about that. And then there was this one where you get out of your own end zone. Immediately you're thinking, okay, just get a first down and get to the house. Like I'll tell you this. D'Amico said, if I wouldn't have thrown the interception, you wouldn't have questioned this when Stoots asked him today. Yeah. I said, why the fuck are you throwing the first time that you went back to throw after the Woody Marks run? That's But so they decide to throw, but it's really this simple. And this is kind of discouraging for me. They're aggressive when they shouldn't be if the other team is getting the ball at half. Because against San Francisco was getting the ball to start the third quarter. Against the Chargers were getting the ball to start the third quarter. And then against the Colts, they were getting the ball, the Texans, to start the third quarter. So D'Amico's whole philosophy, it appears, when it comes to telling Nick Caley when to and not be aggressive, is as simple as who gets the ball to start the second half.
Yep.
It's not great. It's not a great philosophy to have.
Nailed it. Yep.
Not great. But
nope.
We can you can wipe it away, and we can see how they handle it moving forward. It's just,
we can.
It would just be another place where they've decided that we're not going to maximize our margins. And this is the dichotomy that's existed with this team, is that there's places where you go, it's almost like maddening. You want to pull your hair out, except they're finding ways to get it done. And I have such a hard time like continuing to stress, especially for a team that talks so much about process, stress the fact that there's some processes here that you look at, you go, there's no way that's a good thing, except y'all keep getting results. And you're getting a lot of them to the point where I'm like, maybe I should shut up, but also it still feels wrong.
They also have they've previously have stated you don't really want to give the other team a chance before halftime, especially if they're getting the football. And then you go and give the other team a short field that should have been 3, could have been 7. Thank God your defense was there. And thank God the most accurate kicker in football decided to be inaccurate for some reason.
Yeah, they screw it up, but it's as simple as who has the ball to start the third quarter. But it's also, you can wipe it away and figure it out, because that's just self-inflicted. And I would be hard pressed to think that they're not going to look at that a little bit different. It was a weird thing, because it's
I don't think this will change. I think this is a weak spot that will not change.
Okay, well, it can, but I would agree. It's just a weird thing to act like throwing the ball from your own 20 in that instance where you just got out of the 1 yard line is something that people just criticize because of the result. Like I mean, I don't know about y'all. I was ready to go take a piss after Woody Marks got out of the end zone. I actually tweeted, Texans take it to the house, fortunate to take it to the house. And it's like, not so fast. Yeah. So
I don't know why you don't try to, like, you feel like, oh, okay, we got into a position. Maybe we got a chance. We got a couple timeouts. Keep it on the ground. Force them to use the timeouts if they want to use them, or use yours.
It's not the same as the Colts, though. If you think that, then that's like insanely simplistic. It's far different, but yeah.
Let's hit a couple of super chats here, guys.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. Before we get to the defense and the playoff picture, let's get to super chats and let's get to prize picks as well.
All right, the super chats first. Cougar, how we doing, fellas? We're really about to draw the Ravens after all, aren't we? The only QB has somewhat had this defense's number the last few years.
Wouldn't that be crazy? I would rather go to Baltimore than Buffalo, though. I will say that. And maybe the Steelers could pull it off. I couldn't even say that with a straight face, but maybe they can. Who knows?
It's a 3-point game. The Steelers have swept the Ravens multiple times in the last 4 or 5 years. Like the Steelers winning this game at home is not the craziest thing in the world. It's crazy that blue-haired wig motherfucker is somehow factoring in to the AFC playoff picture right now. The guy that DK Metcalf punched in the face.
Did he punch him?
Literally,
Did he though?
if they're throwing to DK Metcalf instead of Marquez Valdez-Scantling in that game, we're probably talking about a different picture right now.
Or just throwing it to Gainwell when he's wide open in the middle.
That too. Fair.
It is also a compromised Lamar. He's clearly not 100%.
Yeah, he has a bad.
I love where we'll talk about it in 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
I love where the Texans are right now. I love where they are right now.
That Fort Worth guy with the super chat. Time to give these starters a bye week. Let Kaylee play his favorite QB Mills and give Steichen a win to end the season.
No.
thanks.
He's not doing it.
No, thanks. No,
I
thanks.
actually don't really hate that perspective either, as much as rest is very necessary. Again, the mentality that they've had, the propaganda portion of this is fascinating to me, as you could tell.
I do think
there are some guys who could use some rest, but I don't think
certainly
I don't think CJ's a guy that needs rest right now.
But you break kayfabe as soon as you start doing that. Like, they've held on to this. Yes, that was for you, Sean. They've held on to this idea that man, we're playoff mentality and all this matters, and we're gonna keep on pushing. And I feel like that's necessary. Like, this whole house of cards falls over if you don't keep this.
Don for New Jersey. Defense amazing. Special teams are back. O-line solid. Run game solid. We will go how far 7 takes us. Side note, I will die for Aziz.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Aziz, it's not even weird. It's very apparent how much better Henry To'oTo'o is when he doesn't have to do Aziz's job.
Yeah.
And he can just do Henry To'oTo'o's
Thank
job.
you. I said that on the post-game show. I'm
Also,
like, this
EJ
is like
Speed,
getting
we can't
2
leave him out
guys
of this
back.
either.
Well, you mean EJ Friendly Fire Speed that
That's
nearly
right.
took Aziz out of the game?
Yep. All of those things. Like,
I felt like To'oTo'o was like, "Oh God, I'm so happy to see you." Like, it almost felt like a recharge. He was kind of in a little bit of a lag, and then he just like, "Oh, I had to live without Aziz. I'm so happy you're here."
It's like when D'Amico says, "Hey, I want these dudes to play fast." I think he is specifically talking about Henry To'oTo'o. Like, don't think about nothing, big dog. Go hit somebody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Best believe 227. To be honest, our season rests between Kaylee's ears. Shaking my head.
Is that Canadian? I love that.
Yeah. And then he follows it up with, I wish Kaylee called the Schultz screen pass when they zero blitzed on third. CJ needs to raise level of play, which he does when they play good teams. Well,
So what's our CJ level of concern or confidence, or where are we with, because they're going to the playoffs? Where are we with playoff CJ right now?
I think he's in the mix of all these quarterbacks. I think there's Josh Allen, and then there's everyone else. And I think all right, let me put it this way. I think there's Josh Allen, there's everyone else, and then there's kind of a wild card with Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers is at the very bottom.
Yeah.
The ghost of Aaron Rodgers. So I think CJ's in the mix with Bo Nix. I think he's in the mix with Drake May, although Drake May is having clearly a better season. He's in the mix with Trevor Lawrence right now. Trevor Lawrence is playing decent. And then Herbert. That's kind of where I'm at with where they're at there. So that's how I put them.
I think there's a chance that there's probably 8 guys better than him in the playoffs, and maybe an argument for more.
Yeah, give me. It depends on the day. Like, it's so up and down. There's sometimes where you see him throwing with anticipation, hitting his receivers with accuracy, handling pressure decently, and there's other times where you see the entire opposite. And I don't know that I've really, maybe I need to put Landry Locker PI on the case to get some feeling as to what creates one variety of CJ Stroud versus the other. And
right after we talk about CJ, Caesar salad. Stroud is a turnover machine and a liability.
How much did you put those interceptions on him squarely? Because, there's like a spectrum of interception liability when it comes to quarterback. And I'm very intrigued how you fellas saw it. High?
I'm both the 2 in this game, high.
100% for both of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I was high.
The only way I would take some blame away on the first one is if the intention was to get the ball to Higgins behind Dalton Schultz. But if his pass was to Dalton Schultz, which it looked to me like it was, that was intercepted, tip or no tip.
That was a rough one.
Yeah,
that was a rough one.
It was tipped, but minimal tippage. Like, it was I think that was a
Been there.
Derwin James pick, tip or no tip. That was my feeling on that.
The interesting one for me is I do wonder how much you guys looked at this. I'm looking at the second one and being like, hey, Christian Kirk, aren't you supposed to be a vet? Like, he's rounding an in breaker. He doesn't come across the face of the safety, although the safety is breaking on the football. And again, CJ's under pressure trying to throw with the anticipation. But there is somewhere where I'm looking at Christian Kirk like, hey, man, where's the vet portion of this? That's supposed to be getting from you.
The second time he's done that this year, too. There's been a couple of times where, I mean, it's just there's no it's the Christian Kirk thing is an interesting thing.
I'm excited for next year where we take all the snaps that went to Christian Kirk
and give him to Noel
and all the snaps that went to Jalen Noel and just give them all to Jalen Noel. I'm excited for that part. I know Tank Dell might be back next year. I'm putting Tank Dell on a separate burner.
You don't think there's some sorry ass veteran that's walking through that door?
Hey, baby, Justin Watson coming back off IR, baby.
They might trade for that Pop Douglas guy off the Patriots.
No, I'm a sucker, man. I'm a total sucker. It's the Jalen Noel show next year, baby. Yeah.
Couple more here. Zachary says, would be great if Kaylee would call a design crossing routes with Nolan Higgins. We don't have the line for these long developing plays. There were some moments where it looked like, for whatever reason, Kaylee's fault or Stroud's fault, the play was not set up to answer quick pressure.
No,
I saw that a few different times. Nope. And then Cougar wants to know, why is Kaylee scot-free in this one, Landry? He had 1-2 quarters of good play calling, same as almost every game, 1-2 quarters of competence. Then, well, you know.
He's not scot-free. He's still not good. It's just I don't think he's been as bad the last couple of weeks as, quite frankly, the quarterback in a large portion of it. I mean, there were a couple of, I mean, that screen call to Dalton Schultz where Dalton Schultz fumbles it instead of gaining 15 yards, that's not his fault. The Woody Marks play call where CJ Stroud misses him due to the pressure, that's not his fault. I don't think he's good. I don't think he was as bad as he has been. So maybe I'm grading on a curve, but he's not scot-free. The offense has problems. He's one of the faces of the offense. I just think when we're talking, a lot of times when we talk about the offensive coordinator, it's the quarterback's a victim of the offensive coordinator. I think for a large chunk of the last couple of weeks, you can make a case that the quarterback didn't really do the offensive coordinator a lot of favors consistently. So that's my only point on that.
The question that I was actually asking B. Scott earlier today, who's supposed to be the adult in the room when it comes to the offense, though? Right? Is it the third-year quarterback or is it an offensive coordinator? And again, that comes back to the age-old question of, you know, when you're hiring an offense coordinator, especially without a head coach that has some level of insight onto that side, shouldn't you probably get someone who could be the adult in the room?
Well, we also don't know how many times CJ's nailing it at the line of scrimmage pre-snap versus CJ's messing it up at the line of scrimmage pre-snap. They're the only ones that know that. Yeah. So, you know, he may have the answers and not ever get to that page of the answers, so to speak. I was trying to make a test analogy, but it didn't work.
I thought you were doing all right. I think that was nice.
Yeah,
I think that worked. Yeah.
I think you did incredible.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Cody, before we get to the defense and the playoff picture, you want to tell the people about Prize Picks?
I do. Prize Picks is simply predicting more or less on given stats within a upcoming game. It could be basketball. It could be hockey. It could be college football. And, of course, it could be the NFL, where we like to make our Prize Picks entries each and every week. For the first time in the history of the Texans Collective.
How'd we do?
We went over.
Yeah. Fade the collective.
So the lesson is, fade us.
That's right.
And you can win a lot of money.
Yeah, we were over. Aziz didn't come through. McConkey didn't come through. Stroud nor Herbert. But if you want to get on the horse, look at it. It's very easy. More or less on receiving yards, on touchdowns, on pass yards, completion percentage, which Sean revealed to me this past week that you could do completion percentage.
Yeah.
There's various ways to get in. And when you get in there, when you sign up with Prize Picks, use our code Texans. It's right there at the bottom of the screen, Texans. And you'll play your first $5, get $50 bonus added immediately to your account. So
my favorite thing about the whole Prize Picks thing this weekend was Reggie saying that he was taking Ladarius McConkey.
You know, I was thinking that he was playing like Ladarius, and apparently you guys let me know, and he let me know that nope, lad.
No, he's lad.
He was on
he's lad as fuck. Yes.
I also thought that great job by the linebackers, which they've done this all year long, which is not biting on play action, because there was instances where he had that channel across the middle and they were clearly expecting oh, these linebackers going to bite. We just going to right over top of them. The lad's going to go to work.
By the way, you mentioned that the linebackers. I want to give some credit because we're getting into the gritty defense, right?
Yes.
So I want to give some credit because I had a similar feeling like in the D'Amico Ryans era, and I want you guys to tell me if you kind of had this feeling as well. I remember the D'Amico Ryans era where they won a game that basically solidified them getting into the playoffs, and it was kind of one of the most adverse displays of the D'Amico Ryans era. Year one. On the road against the Tennessee Titans with Case Keenum starting.
Oh, yeah.
As I was watching that game, I remember saying to myself multiple times, who the fuck is number 95? And it was Derek Barnett, and he was out there making plays, and he was a guy who they had just picked up off the streets, and he was out there making plays in a really big game out of nowhere, and he's made plays since. He had 2 sacks the other day. This week, I found myself saying, who the fuck is number 38?
There it is, baby.
Yeah.
After the Miles Bryant, I don't want to call it a debacle because again, Miles Bryant he's a good utility guy. He's a guy you want on your football team. He's just not a starting safety. But number 38 was in there thumping mofos, and it was very similar to when you saw Derek Barnett 2 years ago doing the same thing and kind of emerging out of nowhere in crunch time. And Tommy Togiai last year, yes.
Yeah, man, I loved it. The question I asked myself, I'll start with the negative, so when I get back to this positive, y'all be sweet on me, is there was a little bit of this feeling with, I don't want to say Miles Bryant, MJ Stewart, but early on, right, you get somebody else in and you go, oh, this looks like it works. And how much of that is just a lack of exposure, and the teams go, oh, let me go do some research on what you about, and we can find your weaknesses. Now, it's early on, and I bring that up only just to say that I did my due diligence. I am here to be happy. I love this. I think I mentioned it last week, right? I did not love the idea that they felt they didn't get to the need to take a dude in Kalen Bullock, who is widely regarded as a fantastic rangy safety, and move him from that deep safety role into a box safety role where he's also like long and lanky, and he does not really have that build, with all due respect to, I know the temerity that he can bring to this. He doesn't have that build to be that guy. So now you have 2 dudes playing positions that you wouldn't necessarily want, instead of having one dude who's great at his position and another dude who can hold it down. And shout out to Kayvon Wallace, who has been on this roster or been around for a while, which did make me go, hey, why did you not get here till now? But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to appreciate the fact that things are put back right, and you have a dude who looks like he can handle that business, because that was what this game was for me. It was like, I was starting to wonder after that Raiders game, is the edge on this razor of the buzzsaw that is the defense, like, is it blunting? Because you saw the defensive tackle rotation start looking a little so-so. Aziz not there in the linebacker core made them look a little so-so. And then, of course, what we talked about with safeties. That's the spine of the defense. What are we talking about here? All of those levels looked good in this game, and Kayvon Wallace deserves some credit for the third level.
Yeah, Barnett a few years ago, Togiai last year, this year, for this game specifically, Wallace is in the building, and they added Lecky Fotu this week, and he was much better than Marlon Davidson. I mean, much better.
Well, he wasn't getting moved back into the second level, so that helped.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. He played a lot of football, and a big, strong guy, and get him off the couch after he'd been a free agent for a week, and add him up to the active roster on game day. So Nick Caserio did a good job, finding those pieces and having them available for D'Amico Ryans. And again, guys that exactly fit not only what they needed, but what they do. Barnett's played in that system before. Fotu's played in that system before, played for Matt Burke before. And then Wallace, you could see how physical he was. I mean, he's not Miles Bryant's size, so he doesn't have Miles Bryant problems. And he was out there thumping guys. So it was really good, impressive.
Derek Barnett is like, he's got like that old man, grown man strength type of vibe to him. I told Cody this morning, he looks like someone who still gets the newspaper. Like, he is just like, business, like, he's just about that action, man. He's just,
man.
He doesn't want to talk when he does good. He doesn't want to talk when he does bad. He just kind of goes about his business and handles it. You'll get a friendly, like, hey, how you guys doing? But he's just a no nonsense type of dude.
Also, wasn't it nice to come into a game where you go, this feels like a game where they could get a whole bunch of sacks, and then they actually get a whole bunch of sacks. Like, that was one of those things that was kind of really nice, because it was an oddity that I know you guys were talking about over the last few weeks, where it's like, yo, where the sacks at, man? And in this game, they're like, it's right here. And it wasn't just the numbers that you would anticipate in 51 and 55. As you mentioned, Derek Barnett got in, Nico Autry out here kicking folks, but also bringing people down. Like all that came into 4. And so I love that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And it's the right time for all that to come together.
By the way, you didn't mention Sheldon Rankins.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also want to say this: Will Anderson better than his stats. It felt like a lot of Justin Herbert's running was to avoid 51. So I always roll my eyes at advanced stats. I talk about sacks. Will Anderson better than his stats.
Yes. And Landry, I know you love this. Derek Barnett, neighbor in my building.
Whoa!
He lives in the building here. Yes.
No way.
Yes. Charlie Heck's unit.
So when we get him on the show,
we'll get. I'm working on it. I'll get him pop in behind me right here.
He's in Charlie Heck's unit.
No, Charlie Heck was right below us. Yeah, Charlie's lease ran out on August 31st.
Okay. Yeah. Do you ever talk to him, or is it just like a head nod or anything? It's a
Derek Barnett,
a head nod guy.
Yeah, total head nod. So total head nod. Hey man, how you doing? He's.
But it's sometimes like a real friendly, like, hey, fellas,
nice 2 sacks that you had on the very crucial situation early in the third quarter. Yes.
You should have made a joke. You should have made a joke like if he's carrying up like his food or something and say, damn, why 1 sack? I thought you were a 2 sack guy.
I'm going to use that. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I'm taking that from you.
Sean's right now.
I am dad joking the fuck out of Derek Barnett when I see him in the elevator. Yes.
You can adjust if he has 2 sacks. Just be like, oh, 2 sacks.
Why only
not the first time I've seen that. Yeah.
Life imitates art.
Yeah, there you go.
TV, I thought you had 2. Yeah. Oh, hey, ayo. Yeah. As far as the gritty defense goes, the one thing I would say is that we're talking about Kayvon Wallace and, guys along the defensive line. We got a little bit of a taste of what it feels like to lose one of I would call it the 4 table legs here. You got Anderson and Danielle Hunter in the front. You got Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley in the back. And when Kamari Lassiter went out it was 7 snaps that felt like 70 snaps with no Kamari Lassiter.
Oh yeah,
because of the two receptions for 80 yards that Tremont Smith gave up. They cannot afford to lose along the defensive line. You can't afford to lose Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter because that's elite shit. But at least you've got some capable defensive line. You've got Danico Autry and you've got Derek Barnett, as we all 4 talked about here. You lose Kamari Lassiter or Derek Stingley Jr., you're sunk. You're fucked.
Yeah.
It was very obvious in this game on Saturday night.
I do think, though, that, God, I feel like Kamari needs a break, man. Just like Woody Marks needed a week off. I feel you on that, Sean, but I do think even against Indianapolis, it looks like it's going to be right.
Fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm not talking about we're on the same page. But you can't going into the playoffs. You got to have both of these guys.
Is it weird that I'm actually not as low on Tremont Smith as it feels like you are in this moment?
Yes.
This feels like
it's fucking weird. Stop being
fair.
So weird.
That's what I've been trying for many years. It has not taken. I was very cognizant of cornerback depth going all the way back to training camp. Tremont Smith has done something for me, and I think that this one felt really bad in particular because that is Quentin Johnson, who is still a big, speedy motherfucker. He just be dropping the football, which of course that is the give up on some of this. But he was able to get out really far on Tremont Smith in that one because he's a big, speedy motherfucker.
That's all he does. How do you let him get behind you?
Well, fair. Yeah, got you.
They're for their biggest play. So their biggest.
that is fair. That is fair.
So Kamari Lassiter leaves the field on the first play of the next drive, his first or second. 16 yards was the Chargers' biggest play of the game. And then shortly after that, the 60-yard bomb. So, yeah, it was not great. And that's when I thought Kamari Lassiter. By the way, it was kind of a weird situation. Cody thought Kamari originally broke his leg when he first saw the replay. And then you see Kamari Lassiter, he's walking. And I didn't know what to make of the sideline report. And I actually thought the sideline reports were fine for all the bitching that we've done about the broadcast.
Yeah.
But LA's like, yeah, we saw Kamari Lassiter walk off the field. He whispered something to his mom, and you kind of see Kamari Lassiter walking back. And I'm like, what did he whisper to his mom? And then
right, me too. It's a great tease.
Was he bad or was he like upset? Did he know that? Because normally when you know the injury right away, it's like Achilles or something. Like it's always like that. Like I was like, okay, what did he whisper? I'll be back. I don't know.
It was a great tease.
I'd love that. I would love if it was just something entirely unrelated to football.
I'm gonna actually ask him because he's cool. He likes to talk about his mom. Like he actually loves to talk about his mom. There's 2 times where he's talked about his mom with me. Like one time she was pissed at him that him and Adonai Mitchell, who were college teammates, switched jerseys on their first career game. She was like, "You dumbass." So he did that. And then another time was where JJ Watt called him a psychopath. And he was like, my mom asked why he was calling me a psychopath or whatever. So I'm going to ask him, like, dude, they really made a big deal about you whispering in your mom's ear. Can you?
Oh, yes.
Whisper in your mom's ear. I'm going to solve that mystery tomorrow.
Yes. What did you whisper?
Yeah. What was the whisper, man? Because they had us on the edge of our seats. We were like, what did he whisper?
And again, I don't think any of us here need it, but I would like to reiterate, this is why Kamari Lassiter is so damn good. On any team, one of the most hated players is the other cornerback, because that is where we are going to go. Not here. Like, just not here. And I think that in and of itself has to be appreciated, that you go, all right, Derek Stingley's taking away half the field. We can't go over there either. Can't do it.
He's also, I'm not big on like Pro Bowl snubs, but he is a Pro Bowl snub. Yes. Like he really if you look at it statistically, if you actually watch it, like he's 2 behind the league lead in interceptions. I think he's tied for pass deflections. He leads all corners and tackles. And I think TFLs, he's like tied or something like that, or 1 back. Like he's a Pro Bowl caliber corner. He's the second best corner in franchise history. It's not a hot take, but he's the second best corner in franchise history.
This team's going to be spending $60 million on their starting cornerbacks 3 years from now. Fact.
Oh, geez.
It's not my money. It's not my money. It's not my money.
I'm just telling you right now. Like D'Amico mentions Kamari Lassiter unprompted in more press conferences than I've ever heard him mention other players. Like he loves Kamari Lassiter. They are not letting him go. So get used to it, motherfuckers. All right. Man. Hey, before we get out of here, the playoff picture right now. There are 4 spots where the Texans could land right now. The 3 seed, which seems highly unlikely because you need Jacksonville to lose to Tennessee at home. The 5 seed, which is the most likely, Texans win, they're the 5 seed. That's the most likely scenario right now. And then the 6 seed, depending on who wins, who loses, 7 seed, depending on who wins, who loses. We should point out that the Chargers have announced today that they're not starting Justin Herbert in their final game of the season. So they are going to lose in all likelihood to the Denver Broncos, who have everything to play for in that last game, the 1 seed overall in the AFC. So it seems like the Chargers are going to be the 7 seed in this whole thing, depending on what the Bills do against, I forget the Bills, I think are playing the Jets. In this. So my question,
their first 1,000-yard runner since 2015.
My question to you guys,
the Jets.
And I asked Seth this question this morning in terms of preference right now. If the Texans are going to be the 5 seed, Aaron Rodgers starting for the Steelers, Lamar Jackson starting for the Ravens, Snoop Huntley starting for the Ravens. What's the power ranking of all of this stuff?
I don't know why Huntley wasn't their backup to begin with. Honestly, I didn't really understand what that was. They might not even be in this situation if they would have perhaps started him. So I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
So I fear Lamar Jackson. If the Texans have to go face Lamar Jackson in a playoff game, I don't care if his back hurts. I don't care if they're talking about junk food habits and sleeping in and video games and whatever the hell that report is. I don't care. I fear Lamar Jackson. He's right at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, without question.
It's got to be Jackson, Huntley, Rodgers.
Jackson, Huntley, Rodgers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even mention Rodgers on purpose. There's no fear there.
So we're all rooting for the Steelers hardcore on 100%. Sunday night. Yeah,
100%. And the other thing about this is, and I think this is another way to look at it, because I'm actually going to do the end of week outlook. The reality is this: if you win the division, you're facing Buffalo in round 1, most likely. So do you want to do that? Or would you rather go to Baltimore? You're going to have to, you can look at it as you're going to face the Bills eventually, but or would you rather go to Baltimore and would you rather face the Bills right off the top at home, round one, or would you rather just knock off the Ravens or get a chance to knock off
on the road?
Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing about winning the division is that the anxiety pops up and I go, hey, this offense has been better at home than it has been on the road. Like that's the only thing that I bring up and I go, ooh, the place. If I can mitigate 1 week of the playoffs where I go, I feel a little bit better about the offense. That would do something for me. But ultimately, they just keep doing the same thing over and over. And I think your point is well made.
I think there is a chance, Landry. I don't have it right in front of me. I think there's a chance you would host Jacksonville. I think Buffalo can move to 5.
That would be fantastic. But yeah. Well, I'm just saying this because the Chargers have conceded 7. Buffalo's going to win because they're going to beat the Jets. So that's a for sure. Now I don't know what the tiebreaker is with Jacksonville and Buffalo. I don't have that in front of me. I don't know that it even matters. But I am conceding that the Jets are going to lose to the Bills and that the Chargers have already said they're going to lose. So there's no if scenario for me there.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's thinking Cam Moore's going to have some generational game.
It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing, and it illustrates where we are right now. That the 6 and 7 seeds in Buffalo and the Chargers are viewed as equally, if not more, scary than the 1 and the 2 seeds in New England and Denver right now.
It is. When the playoffs get here, if it's Texans, Bills, Chargers as 5, 6, 7, I will be making a 5, 6, 7 parlay.
Yeah.
Like that is that is about as live as 3 road teams could be in a playoff setup.
It's a great point, Cody. It's a great point. If you're the 5 seed going against Pittsburgh or the Ravens, and I would love to play Pittsburgh more than the Ravens. Like I think all 4 of us feel that way. You have a better than a puncher's chance of hosting a divisional round game as the 5 seed with Buffalo and the Chargers at 6 and 7, whatever order they're in there. Than we've seen that in a playoff scenario that I can remember.
You would have to look at because in the world where the Texans win the division, it means that Buffalo and the Jags have the same record. I don't know what their tie-breaking situation is in Italy, so it could be Jacksonville. I don't know what that looks like or what that is.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's a good scenario. It's as wide open as you could possibly.
Fun, man.
We're sitting here saying, well, hopefully they don't have to go face a very flawed Ravens team with Lamar Jackson with a hurt back. Like, okay, well, back in the day, it was, well, hopefully they don't have to go face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs at Buffalo, or anything like that.
7 weeks ago, it was, I hope we're 5 and 5 next week. That's look where we are right now. Like that's what it is. It's
5 and 5, keep hope alive was the motto.
Yeah. Like I got no problem with any of these scenarios. This defense can win you a bunch of different scenarios. So, fuck it, let's go, man. Like this is great. We're in a great spot right now. And the 5 seed, I'm cool with it, man. If that's what it is, this is good stuff. And they're favored by 10 over Riley Leonard and the Indianapolis Colts. And I can tell you right now, I watched every snap of Riley Leonard at Notre Dame last year. He is not ready for Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson next week. I can promise you that.
Badass Hail Mary by him, though. That was pretty.
That was a good. He put it in a good spot.
It was an elite Hail Mary by him.
It was a good Hail Mary by him.
My bad for dereliction of duty. It do not matter. You're the boogeyman now. That's what the answer should have been.
Thank you.
The Texans are the boogeyman in the playoffs. It do not matter.
Let's go. All right, boys. This was a whole lot of fun. As always, can't wait to do a little playoff preview next week, wherever this whole thing lands come Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a fun weekend of football watching for everybody here. We appreciate all of you in the chat, man. The numbers nice and high this week. We always appreciate that. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell a friend about us, because we're about to hit playoff football here on the Texans Collective. Landry Locker room with Landry Locker, 10:30 tonight, right, Landry?
Yes, sir.
All right, 10:30 tonight. Landry's got his coverage here of the Houston Texans. Reggie Atatula, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. in the Loop, Sports Radio 610, and of course Cody Stutes, Houston Football with Cody Stutes, and Landry and Cody with SNL. Excellent stuff. And you guys are going to be at Spanky's the next couple weeks, right?
Yes, we will, next 2 weeks, and then we'll be there. We'll be there a third. We just don't know when, but yeah, we pushed it back to the second intentionally. So we're looking forward to it. I got a awesome gift for Cody. This is going to be a memorable. No.
Are you giving it to him in front of the people?
I'm giving it to him in front of the people, and this is going to be. I'm proud of this. You can't buy this in stores. This is a excellent. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it. I'll send you a picture of it, Sean. I'll send you a picture of it. Just don't.
Okay.
It is elite.
Okay, I'll retweet it. I promise you that. Cody, you don't look very excited. What's going on?
I can't even imagine what this is. It's probably a homemade workout plan or something. Like, here you go, fat boy. It's the new
What's wrong
year.
with that?
Yeah.
It's trying to help you live a better life. What do you?
It wouldn't be coming from the right place. You know that.
Yeah, it comes from the heart.
We talked about this on SNL earlier. Landry, would you like to rehash the text that you just randomly sent me?
No, we're up against it. We gotta go.
Hey,
we gotta go.
Hey, Cody, do you think you're heavier or lighter than Trent Brown's current listed weight on the roster?
Good God Almighty!
Randomly in the middle of Sunday.
That's violence. That's very violent.
That was a text.
It's out of context.
You know what I did? I ordered an extra ranch for my wings right after
My
that.
my man.
He said, "I might not be right now, but I can get there."
All right, boys. We'll get out of here. We got Monday Night Football coming up in about 8 minutes in a game that means jack shit to the Houston Texans, the Falcons, and the Rams. We got a Rockets game coming up, though, so we'll get to that tonight. Hey, great being with all of you. Appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody listening. Tell a friend about us, the Houston Texans Collective. Landry, Reggie, Cody, myself. We are done. Cody, you know what to do. End stream.